Hello and welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to follow my journey to review all 1000 classic Looney Tunes shorts and give this video a like as well. So this is a review for Lumberjerks, and with me today, so we're both a pair of lumberjerks I guess, is my good friend Kurtis Finlay. Say hi!
Hi, it's Kurtis Finlay from Canada, where we are all lumberjacks, but not lumberjerks.
Ooh, very nice. And I guess all Canadians are polite like these gophers, you know, the whole after you, no after you.
Of course, yes.
Yes?
After you. No, after you.
I insist, after you. So let's go through some of the information here. So as mentioned, this is a review for Lumberjerks, released on the 25th of June 1955. It's the 743rd in the series, and it's directed by Friz Freleng. You can find this on the Looney Tunes Golden Collection Volume 1 DVD set. It has since been remastered in HD, but that's not been put on disc yet as far as I'm aware. Apparently there's a low pitch issue or something with the sound on it, so hopefully that'll all get corrected. I didn't really notice anything myself. My ears are not finely tuned, but you guys be the judge. At least it's out there. At least it's restored, and that's what counts. But if you haven't seen this one, it is under copyright. Can't show you the full thing here on YouTube, otherwise the video will just get blocked. Warner Brothers can put it on their own channel. That's up to them, of course. It's very safe, so maybe they will one day, but it's your typical Goofy Gophers short around this period of time, where in this case they find this tree to put all their acorns in, but the tree has been chopped down, so they go and find where their home has been taken, and they end up into a lumber mill. So yeah, not really much to it. It's very in-depth, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't know that I've actually seen a whole lot of Goofy Gophers films. I've seen maybe 3 of them. It's interesting because recently we talked about a Pepe Le Pew cartoon, and we were talking about how kind of redundant they are. These guys are redundant as well, but for some reason I find them a little bit more endearing. They seem to have a little bit more variety in the antics that they get into.
Yeah, just something about them, these Goofy Gophers, which they weren't given names until later on in the Bugs Bunny show, where they were given names of Mac and Tosh, and play on Macintosh, so go figure. Although here, they're pretty much interchangeable, they just look the same, and the only difference is one is voiced by Blanc and one is voiced by Stan Freberg. But you mentioned about the whole thing with how many were directed. It's kind of a weird history, because the first one was started by Clampett, but it was finished by Art Davis. Art Davis then made another one where he actually did it all himself, which was Two Ghosts from Texas, a criminally underrated Looney Tunes short, period. It's just absolutely bonkers, that one. I love it. Then he started another one, but his unit was disbanded, so Bob McKimson finished it. Then they were dormant for a few years, and all of a sudden, Friz Freleng made 4, with the first one being written by Ben Hardaway, of all people, who was one of the Bugs Bunny fathers, so to speak. Very weird. Then, after this one, which is the 4th and final one Friz Freleng did, it goes dormant for a couple of years, and then Bob McKimson makes one more, and then he makes one more again in the Patty Freleng years. So, very weird history these guys have.
I'm pretty sure that these guys are a direct response to Disney's Chip and Dale. I mean, you can obviously see the similarities, the references, and of course, even when they give them a name in the 60s, Macintosh, it's very similar, like splitting up a longer word like Chip and Dale. So Chip and Dale first appeared in 1943 and then sort of became pretty popular. It kept on appearing in these cartoons and Donald Duck and that kind of stuff. Goofy Gophers followed in 1947. But if you look at the timing of these things, they lay dormant from 1949 for just a couple years in 1951. But you know what also happened in 1951 is Chip and Dale also starred in their first cartoon in 1951. And they only starred in 3 cartoons in 1951, 52, and 54. So I think having Freleng bring them back as well is also kind of a response to Disney giving Chip and Dale their own starring roles.
I think so, because it's just weird how randomly they just came back. Freleng was tasked to doing it, because they also one stage even tried to bring Beaky Buzzard back to no real effect. And they tried to bring back a few of these more dormant characters. Even the elephant Hobo Bobo, they tried bringing back. He was in one other short recently. So it's a bit of a weird thing what they try and do. But a lot of it's also to do with merchandising too.
You know what's also interesting is that there were a lot of gophers in classic cartoons in the 50s or early 50s. There's a cartoon in the public domain that I always see. It's the Popeye one called Gopher Spinach. Popeye's fighting this gopher who's eating up his garden. And that was 1954, so a year before Lumberjerks. In 48, Pluto fought a gopher in a cartoon called Bone Bandit. And so we have just off for some reason, a bunch of gophers. And then, of course, in 1966, there's Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, and Disney decided to add one new character who's not in the book, a character called Gopher. And so I don't know what it is, this obsession with gophers in the 50s and into the 60s, but they were all over the place.
I guess maybe people just like the look of gophers.
I guess maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I've already gone through the history regarding how these characters were created in the older reviews, but just very quickly, it's more or less like a vaudeville type act, and it's also part of this American comic strip called Alphonse and Gaston, where it'll be just ultra polite Frenchmen going, after you, no after you. So it's a trope that's been around, and Clampett referenced two other actors that he was inspired by when he was planning his first short before he left Schlesinger's studio. So definitely check out my older reviews if you want to know more about the history of these two characters. But have you seen this short before, doing this review?
Oh, yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah, being on the very first Golden Collection, I've watched it numerous times.
It's a good one, although I can't help but feel that it was like one of those quickie shorts that was done just to meet a quota, because this is more or less a remake of I Go For You, where in that one, you've got the Goofy Gophers. They don't lose their home, but they lose all their vegetables that they collected, and they end up going to this vegetable factory and they contend with all the machinery there. Here it's very similar. They actually lose their home and they end up going to this lumber mill and do all sorts of stuff there, among other things too, but it's a kind of a remake.
Except that none of the jokes are repeated. So you get 100% new gags in this cartoon. So if you're watching both of them back to back, like it's not like you're going to be watching the same thing.
Which is good, because Friz Freleng was also known for, and Warren Foster too, the writer, they were known for repeating a lot of gags, and usually they'll improve on them, and nothing wrong with repeating gags. But here, you're right, they don't. But yeah, it's pretty much, I think Foster just quickly wrote this just using the same plot idea, and that's that. And that's fine. I reckon we even take a look at this short from start to finish, and yeah, we can go through some of our observations. One of the animators credited was Manny Perez, who didn't come back to the studio afterwards, so it's possible this might have been lingering around, sort of started on beforehand, but then finished later. I'd be curious to see what the timeline is for this short, but it must be one of the last few.
Well, at this point, they're going to start using a new version of the theme song, starting with the next cartoon. This is the last cartoon that has the version that they'd been using since 1946.
Yeah, they replaced it with Milt Franklin's edition.
Yeah, and the Pepe cartoon that we talked about earlier, that's the second to last Looney Tunes that uses that theme song as well. So that coincides, I think, with the reopening of the studio. They're just kind of looking forward into the future and stuff.
Simply magnificent. Just loads of closets and oodles of storage space. I think you've made a simply wonderful selection.
Well, thank you. I was a little concerned about your approval.
Oh, you needn't have worried. I trust your taste implicitly.
Thank you. You're so kind.
Hey, we got to start with the politeness talk, don't we? This is a lovely tree. Yes, it is. You just can't help but smile. It's just, I don't know, something about it. It goes on and on and on. And one thing you will notice in this short as well as you're watching it is that there are a lot of animation shortcuts in this one. A lot of times where you don't see much animation or none at all. You just hear talking. So again, I think this is just one of those quickie ones that they just wanted to get out the door. That's my suspicion on it.
But they do treat it really well. I like this tree gag when they're going up the tree with their armful of acorns, and they pause just long enough for you to not even think about the fact that they're in a tree.
Be careful. Watch out for that last step. I told you to be careful.
I know it. I know you did.
And then it pans up and the tree is missing. It's like, that was really well executed. I liked that.
Wonderful layout, 100%. And even when they're gathering nuts in the bit just before that, I like if you listen to the music cue here, because Milt Frankel does this one, and he doesn't normally do musical puns like Carl Starling did, because Carl Starling was seemingly obsessed with that. But you do hear this wonderful rendition of "Here we go gathering nuts in May," or "Here we go around the mulberry bush." You can hear it as they're gathering up those acorns, which I thought was a nice little touch. It's very nice. Good thing is that even though there's some shortcuts, they've disguised it so well, as you mentioned, as they're going up this tree, you just hear the voices, but it's for a purpose. The tree's cut down. What are they going to do?
Apparently, someone has cut our tree down and carried it away.
Apparently, very apparently.
They look around and try and find the tree. Now, did you notice that there was a small error when they were approaching the actual river or lake, wherever it is, with all the logs on it?
I did not.
You have one of the gophers, again, they're so interchangeable, I keep forgetting who's who. One is at the ledge, and the other one says a line, "Where is it?" as he's running up, but his mouth doesn't move. And that tells me they probably just added that quick line in post, but they just didn't go back and reanimated the mouth.
Where? Where is it?
It's down there.
Don't you anticipate some difficulty in locating our particular tree?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Is it a big deal? No, but it's just an interesting little thing I noticed, like, oh, there's a little error there. Oh, well, we move on. It's as simple as that. And I like the fact that when they're looking for their tree, which again, I don't know how they can figure out which is their tree, you go along with it. Musically, what do we hear?
I've located it.
Wonderful! Ooh, simply wonderful!
A hunting we will go. It's like they're hunting for the tree. It's like, okay. For someone who doesn't use too many musical puns, he does it pretty well when he does. So there is that. But they locate their tree and, we get one of those gags. It's sort of been done before, but it's fine, where they try and row back one direction, but they end up going the other and go down the waterfall, but somehow defy the laws of physics and go back up.
I beg your pardon, but I think there's something you should know.
I like that gag a lot. Now, I find that the Goofy Gophers are a lot more kind of grounded in reality more than other Looney Tunes characters. And so when they pull out stuff like that, it just seems unexpected. And that's always welcome. A lot of these Goofy Gopher gags, I can guess what the gag is going to be, but that one caught me off guard, so it was good.
They go back up and they get really, really tired when they're actually outside the lumber mill itself. And you can't blame them, can you? You even feel for them. It's like, you poor things, you're so from defying gravity. So yeah, you deserve your nap right there.
We were in a very precarious predicament, weren't we?
Oh, yes, indeed. Very precarious. Very.
You'll just have to excuse me while I rest a moment. Frankly, if you'll pardon the slang, I'm bushed.
Oh, that's perfectly all right. I'm a little, bushed myself.
They go to sleep and they end up going through the actual lumber mill. They're awakened by the saw that's actually slicing in. And again, you get another cute gag, and a lot of these gags are really cute. I think you're right about the whole Chip and Dale thing. There must have been some sort of influence, because a lot of their gags are cute, and we get a lot of cute gags here too, like, oh, you just missed us. Not quite. And he's got shaved back.
That's a good one.
Which mysteriously, the fur grows back in the next scene. Cartoon logic.
Of course. Well, that's always happens.
Course.
How many times has Daffy had his beak blown off and then it's just back all of a sudden?
But my favorite gag in this one has to be where, again, this is a repeated idea, not gag, but just idea, where the Gophers are looking on and seeing all these machinery making stuff. And here, I like the fact that they see a log that's pretty much shredded completely. You have glue and water, and you think, oh yeah, they're going to make some sort of a wood chip item, because that's how you make the wood chip style furniture and all that. But no, it actually makes artificial logs. That's my favorite gag.
That was good. Yeah. Yep. That's classic Looney Tunes right there. That's like a Tex Avery kind of a gag.
Pitch
or a Bob
perfect.
Clampett.
One or the other. But we all know how environmentally conscious these lumber mills are, because, they turn an entire log into just one toothpick. You're just completely wasteful, and I get a kick out of it. But I think the best one's the artificial log by far, in my opinion, at least.
No, I agree.
The Goofy Gophers discovered, oh, they got furniture here. This is what our log has become, and yeah, let's just overlook the fact that they would not be assembling furniture at a lumber mill, but for the purposes of the story, it's completely fine. They assume that, their home has been transformed into furniture. One of the Gophers decides to try and rescue the home. I don't know what he's trying to achieve there, but he goes through and he ends up dying. No, he doesn't. Of course not. He comes out and he's got this thing that looks like curly hair, and he starts saying a poem.
There was a little girl who had a little curl right in the middle of her forehead. When she was good...
Stop it! Stop it! There's a time and a place for everything.
Now, because I know all of you are going to lose sleep because you don't know what the full poem is, I'll read it to you right now. There once was a girl who had a little curl right in the middle of her forehead, And when she was good, she was very, very good. But when she was bad, she was horrid. So there you are. So a round of applause.
Yeah, it's just
Thank you.
cute little nursery rhyme. And it's by Longfellow, who also is the guy behind like Little Hiawatha.
Now you guys can all rest easy. You now know the full poem, okay? So that's what he was trying to go through.
I'm sorry I acted so silly. Something came over me.
Oh, that's all right. Let's get our tree back.
And I just like how gleefully he's in saying that poem, but the other one berates him and the other one's then upset and is apologetic. But then the other one goes back to going, oh, that's okay. So he's just accepts his apology without any conditions. Let's move on. It's just these characters. I absolutely love them. And so they go outside and we see the only other animated characters in this entire short. These two workers. They're just in two scenes. I wonder if the people animating that were just some low-tier animator just starting out or something. And so their plan is to try and get rid of the, well, we say petrol, Americans say gas, but either way, they siphon it out, making one of them sick in the process.
I'm so glad we were able to find this rubber hose.
Go ahead. I've got this end in the gas tank. They're starting. Quick, get out of the way.
But it's quite clever, actually. You know, the truck's going along, and it's like, okay, we just follow the trail. And so they do. It's pretty clever.
Yeah. I had no idea why they were doing this as they were doing it until we see them following the path. Interestingly, the scene with the siphoning of gas was edited out of TV reruns because I guess they didn't want kids mimicking siphoning gas action or something, but yeah, they cut that out.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised, but still, at least we can see it uncut anyway. But I get why they would cut out for kids, though. I don't know how the kids would even get to the position to even attempt that, but maybe they don't want them drinking other poisons around or whatever. So they're following along, and the funny thing is we see those movie men again in the only other shot where we see other characters. But as per the Cartoon Voices book, those two are also voiced by, one is Mel Blanc, sounding a bit like Bugs Bunny, and the other one is Stan Freberg as well.
Oh, joy.
Are you sure you filled up before we left?
Yeah, I'm sure I filled up before we left.
Makes sense. They're in the recording booth. Can you please record these 2 extra lines? No problem. I don't see why they would get someone else for it. So I guess maybe they're the human versions or they're the disgruntled versions of Macintosh. I don't know. Are you sure we filled up before we left? Yeah, I'm sure we filled up before we left. It's just the delivery kills me there. But in a bit of cartoon logic, the two gophers end up rebuilding their tree, but this time with furniture, complete with leaves as well, which is a nice touch. Don't try and overthink how they even accomplish this in the first place. You just go with it. And we get the wonderful punchline at the end with a television set.
By 1955, a lot of people will have TVs in their homes now.
Yeah, but unfortunately for them, they don't have electricity yet, so they're not getting the full effect of the television. So, yeah, nice way to finish up, and we end right there.
These mid-50s to late 50s cartoons, they have some great cartoons ahead of them. Like they're kind of in their highest peak, some of the best stuff that Looney Tunes does. And this one too, even though these are not the most well-known characters or the most well-loved characters and such, but the gags in these cartoons are great. The timing is perfect. And what I like about the Goofy Gophers is that they are not the manic, frantic characters that the other Looney Tunes characters are. So you get some really nice character animation because they just move slower and they take their time with things. And so you get a different type of gag and a different type of feel for this kind of a cartoon. And I like it.
Yeah, I like this one too. It's not, I guess, a quote-unquote high point. Like, it's not What's Opera Doc or anything, but it doesn't have to be. Some of these shorts can just be your usual middle-of-the-road, just normal ones, and that's completely fine. If this is on TV, I'll watch it. It's funny. It's done really well. Yeah, it's a repeated idea, but so what? A lot of these shorts repeat ideas. Big whoop. It's just an observation, nothing more. This one, you know, it gets 8.5 out of 10. It's no masterpiece, but it's no slouch either. It's fine. It's great. I love it.
I would probably give this one maybe a 7, I think. It's better than mediocre, but it's not up to the top tier Looney Tunes for sure.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people complain in the comments I might score a little bit too high on some things, but I think I'm just a bit more forgiving. You know, if it puts a big smile on my face, I'm usually a bit more forgiving, and this one definitely did, and that's the main thing.
Yeah.
But in any case, that will do it for this one. Now, did you want to do the ending, or after me, or after you? Do you want to do the ending first?
Well, no. You go ahead and do the ending.
I insist, you can do the ending.
No, really, it should be you. I think you should do the ending.
All right, I'll do the ending. See, I'll break character and do it. But that will do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And until next time, take care.
Oh, yes, much better. And besides, we have television.
Isn't television just wonderful?
Oh, yes. And think how much better it will be when we get electricity.